making news this morning. Some rental relief today. Price hikes easing across the country. The latest data revealing growth this quarter is 1.5 times slower than the previous year. It comes following, though, a number of government initiatives aimed at addressing rising house prices.
So let's get today's take on this with journalist John Mangos and 9 Honey. Shelley Horton up there on the Gold Coast. John, I'll go to you first because we've seen this rental crisis over the last 18 months. It's really just put Australians on the back foot. It's been so hard out there. It's good that it's heading in the right direction, though.
Yeah, the bubble is starting to burst. This is the correction that we had to have because it was getting out of control, going up, up, up. And of course, greedy landlords were taking advantage of that, the fact that there was a shortage. So I'm glad to see that the market is correcting itself. Still hideously expensive, if you see there on the table, to live in Sydney. But the other cities seem to have evened out a little bit. So I think for those people who are struggling and who do need to rent, it's welcome news. And I guess the Reserve Bank putting up interest rates the last couple of times has probably helped to make the correction?
Well, I think they've been stagnating for a while now. My concern is that if they do raise interest rates again, as predicted by many economists out there, Shelley, that we will see further rises in rents. That's going to be very hard for people to swallow.
Absolutely. I mean, we're still looking at vacancy rates of just 2%. So that means there will be people battling to get rentals, and greedy landlords can put the prices up. I would love to know what the price increase has been on the Gold Coast, because I know we're not a capital city, but we have had a big influx of people like me. However, when we first looked to move up here in 2021, the rental in my street that I live in, where it's all townhouses that look the same, we call it Pleasantville, but that's a by the by. But they are 3-bedroom townhouses. It used to be $700 a week. And we were talking to a neighbour just this week, and their rent is now $1,200 a week.
Wow.
So that is a more than an 11% increase. That's nearly double. So I think that we've got to understand that we're talking about averages here, and there are still going to be places where it is just impossible to get into the market and to get your family with a roof over their head.
I'm not sure when the Reserve Bank realises that all this, rising interest rates or plateauing high interest rates isn't working for the economy. Maybe try dropping it just to see what happens. Just try it.
Dare you. We dare you.
Also making news, we want to talk about this morning, and that is fashion label Witchery has been slammed online for limiting or reducing its size range as part of its latest rebrand. Previously catering up to size 20, their collection now stops at 18. Seems like an arbitrary change. Witchery claims the size only accounted for a small percentage of their sales. Shelley, I want to go to you first. I feel like it's a bit tone deaf in a cost of living crisis. Witchery feels like it's a every woman brand for Australia. What do you think about this?
I say this is not a bold rebrand. This is an embarrassing rebrand, and it's just making women like me who are plus size feeling worthless. I am a size 16 to 18, so sometimes I might go up to a 20. My weight fluctuates, and that means I can't shop at Witcher anymore. But you know what? I don't want to shop at a store that doesn't value women of all sizes. And I think it comes down to even the fact they've dropped using curve models. So if you are a larger size, you don't want to look at a dress on a size 8 model because you don't know what it's really going to look like for you. So I think that they have been incredibly backward in their thinking, and they should make a change. Otherwise, I suggest other plus size women like me make sure we do not spend our money there.
Well, that's it. I guess people can just walk to find an alternative somewhere else if that's the case. I suppose to play devil's advocate here, in a tough business environment where businesses are struggling, particularly in the retail industry, if they're not moving a lot of product in that size, they've had to make a tough decision on that front, John.
And that's what they've said. They've said it's a commercial decision because they're not moving that much gear in that size. But Shelley's absolutely right. And, you know, Witchery don't have to make a change. They can be as they wish to be and not sell size 20. And you know what? Women can vote with their feet and vote with their purses and vote with their wallets and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So if it's a commercial decision, let them find out the hard way that it's a bad commercial decision.
Yeah, or they could have done it and not told us.
Yeah.
I think advertising
Don't
this,
highlight
you
it.
could have just been like, oh, no, we don't have any size 20s at the moment. You could have just not told people and just stopped the hate.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's an interesting one. You can let us know your thoughts online at home. Shelley and John, stay with us when we come back. Grandparents in Sweden eligible for paid parental leave. This is an interesting one. Should Australia follow suit? And
politicians dress for the nines for the annual Midwinter Ball. We're going to go through your fashion favourites next.
Welcome back. Well, Sweden is blazing a new trail for parents, introducing laws allowing them to transfer their paid parental leave. So the changes will enable grandparents to receive compensation to care for their grandchildren.
That seems smart. Let's go back to John Mangos and Shelley Horton, who are here to discuss this. May, what do you think about this?
I think it's a great idea. The important word here is transfer. Yeah. So they're not saying we've got bags of money and we'll give grandparents money to look after the kids. They're saying if the parent doesn't want to leave or can't afford to leave work, they can transfer what would have been their parental leave and turn it into grandparental leave. Fabulous idea. Should we bring it into Australia tomorrow, please? I just think it's a great idea because lots of grandparents would just love to look after their kids and help their own children.
And we can't expect them to do it for free.
Correct.
Right.
And help their own children to maintain their careers. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, I can't see a downside to it, Shelley. What are your thoughts?
Oh, this is brilliant. We should all move to Sweden. I mean, they had paid parental leave for any gender in 1974. Like, they have been leading the way. They also have the highest participation rate in the workforce, which is 90% of 16-year-olds to 64-year-olds, and the happiest workforce. So all of this is showing that if you make it easier for parents to get back into the workforce, if you compensate grandparents, if you make sure that the workplace is a happy place to be, you're going to have a happy country. And that's what we need in Australia. So let's follow suit.
I don't want to be beaten by Sweden. That's crazy talk. Also making news, Canberra hosted its very own Met Gala last night, and boy, didn't they come out mid. The Pollies stepping out in their best evening time for the midwinter ball.
Yes.
See what I did?
Okay.
All right, Shelley, let's. Who do you love? Whose look was your favourite?
So you know what? There's a whole lot of pale male styles out there in black suits. So I'm going to go a little bit controversially with Georgie Purcell because she showed off her tats and hard launched her relationship with Josh Burns. And I love that she's like animal rights and he's Labor. So it's like a cross-party romance, a little bit of a star-crossed
friction
lovers.
there.
And I just love that she's, not afraid to show off that she's a little bit different. She's not your regular conservative politician. And I think that her outfit shows that.
Yes, I think that's a great point. John, what were your thoughts?
Well, I've lived in Canberra, OK, when I had the privilege of working with Peter Harvey. And I know that it gets to -5. So I think Bill Shorten's daughter, Georgette, otherwise known as Gigi, there she is, was very brave to expose her front to -5 degree temperature. Pardon?
Catch her death of cold.
Well, catch her death of cold, exactly right. But she looks fabulous. But I'm sure it was very cold when she stepped outside.
I'm sure everyone was feeling it when they stepped outside. And shout out to our First Lady as well, Jodie, who upcycled a dress from a couple of years ago, which I thought was a nice statement to
And she looks stunning.
Gorgeous, always.
All right, team, good to have you back.
Thank you
here.
both.
Good to see you.
Have a great day. See you soon. Still ahead this morning, the comedian going viral for his compliments to strangers. That's next.